We are going to tap to see who wins, and that person will be the lucky prize winner for the 250 sub marker. And soon enough, we'll be hitting that 500 lot. So we've spun. Here it is. She's live. This is what's going to happen. And we have Dylan Woods. Congratulations, sir. You have been the winner of the sub marker. So I will be in contact with you, and I'll get this out of the way now. And we will continue on with the rest of what we're going to do. So, guys, there we go. Dylan, congratulations, mate. You've won. And I'll organise getting that to you when I can. And just checking in with you to see how you're going and everything like that. For those of you that decide to stick around, pay attention, and get involved, we're just going to jump into a few other bits and pieces. And mainly that is around discussions of RatCon. And I have a few bunch of notes here, which I probably have to go over some more. But yeah, what a weekend it was. Bits and pieces happened and didn't happen, and things went my way and didn't go my way. I guess it was fun. Oh, it was definitely fun. It was always a good laugh. The boys that I go with, the boys that even host the event are amazing, and it's pretty funny and hilarious. So it's always a good weekend. Those boys have just put out there tickets for Radicalism, which is a little bit more competitive, 6 games over a weekend. I definitely will be looking at getting into that and going on from that, so that'll be great fun. Yeah, we went 2-3 with 9 points separating us into 3-2. For those of you who just joined or jumped in, hello, welcome, thank you for coming along. The prize wheel was spun and won by Dylan Woods. So I will be in touch with him shortly to get all that organised. So how's everyone going? We're just discussing RatCon and how I went. I went, as I was saying, I went 2-3. First game was a mirror match versus Tau. Wolfbane, hello. Just discussing how I went at the recent tournament I played a couple of weekends ago. My friend, Beastie Beast, hello as well. Hey guys, I just missed out on being able to join in the live dealing of the prize wheel that just happened. So thank you very much. I will figure that out, mate. I'm gonna get myself organised. I have started a Discord channel which will go up soon enough, enabling everyone to just chat, share photos, talk about Warhammer, run lists by each other, which should be entertaining. I am actually just jumping into the live stream right now to be able to look at it on my laptop, on my tablet, so I can see if I can actually organise how to make someone a mod, which I haven't really dealt with before, so I'm trying to do that. But yeah, we went 2-3, 9 points separated, going 3-2. First game was a mirror match into Tau. I played against, it was, I have it written down here, Crit Hunting Pack with the 9 Rampages, shitloads of Triptides, and a Storm Surge. It was not fun, definitely not fun. Pretty hard to deal with, extremely tough to fight into. At the moment, I'm just yapping about how I went, James. Welcome. just talking about the randomness of what is going on and what I was up to currently. As I was saying, I went 2-3 at my most recent tournament, which was RatCon, which was a couple of weekends ago. Sorry, no, it was last weekend. Wow, it feels like it was 2 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, something like that. But yeah, played into Eldari for the first time since the changes to them. I got them early in 10th, which I didn't really have much of a trouble with. But again, back then I was running Company of Hunters, which was real gnarly. Got what I wanted to do out of that, which was good. But yeah, so played into Crude Hunting Pack first round. I got absolutely bodied. For those of you that do get to play either against Crude Hunting Pack or against them in a tournament, look out for rampages. Mortal Wounds on a charge just really eats up a lot of stuff. They're pretty strong, and they can do some good damage in combat. I really struggled with being able to hold onto primary, so that made everything a really big, hard task. And therefore, it was a pretty heavy loss, 96-54. Talking to the boys afterwards that I go with, that are part of the friendly local game store, always a super positive. You know, if you score more than 50 at a start, you're on the board and you're halfway there. So yes, that was a bit tough and pretty crazy. But into round two, which as I said, I got Eldari. Search and Destroy taken hold was the missions. The 70-79 score was probably not the way the game actually went. I had roughly 1,000 points left on the table in T5, sorry, turn 5, which I went first, and just we got 4 or 5 turns played, and turn 5 we really talked out because we ran out of time, and it was just unfortunate that I couldn't score enough in turn 4 and what would have been turn 5 to turn the game. But yeah, it was super close. The Eldari 5-up Feel No Pain just is insane. Makes things really hard to deal with for the one. But yeah, for that point onwards, like just I can't complain. Like just nuts. Again, the bloke I played was awesome. Erwin ended up going 4-1 and finishing inside the top 15, which is good for him. He was super friendly, and again, scoring 70 and losing probably not too bad. Because the game was so close. So going into the last game of day one, I was 0-2. Could have been 1-1. As I said, the scoring was pretty tight. But yeah, then my luck changed a little bit. I got Imperial Knights in round 3, and I had no idea that Tau can deal with Knights, especially Sunforged. I tabled basically turn 4, and spent all of turn 4, turn 5 just scoring. It ended up 96-16, is what the scores were. It was just absolutely lopsided. Finishing day 1, 1 and 2 gave me a little bit of hope. I was actually expecting to go 0-5. George, no, not Warcraft. We are playing Warhammer 40k, mate. In the background, you probably can see some of my models that I've been painting or have painted. We've got some missile drones, some Crutox riders. There's lots of stuff going on. But yeah, so going into the end of day 1, as I said, I went 1 and 2, which was a little bit unplanned. I don't think per se. It was just a little bit hectic too, but also I had an absolute barrel of laughs. And again, the guy I played, Dave, was fucking funny as, excuse the French. Made shit really good and definitely didn't make me feel bad for beating up on Knights. He was good value. As for the next day, I ran into Dark Angels twice. One Both of them were running Wrath of the Rock. One was Primaris, one was Firstborn. Um, I managed to do quite well, I feel, against. Um, yeah, I have an airbrush George. I have don't have not been using it too much. A lot of it's what you would call slap chop man, prime light or prime light dry brush run in with um, contrast and speed paints. I'm also starting to get back into like pushing my boundaries with edge highlighting, going with weathering. I've got a complete army that's, well, I've got two completed armies actually. I've got Dark Angels and I've got Tau, and Tau's what I ran on the weekend at, or late last weekend at a tournament. And what I'll be running in for the next tournament, which will be Radicalism. I've run it now at two tournaments. Did about the same at both tournaments. I went 2-3. So, look, 10 games that I've played it in tournaments. Going 4-6 is about right for Tau, especially with experimental prototype cadre. But I'm going to change to Rec cadre, mainly because it allows me to 6-inch deep strike, Farsight, and then use all these special buffs and charge in and start slaying some shit with swords because everyone wants +1 to wound within 9 inches and definitely rerolls. But yeah, so going into Dark Angels, um, oh mate, I don't really think I have heaps of skill. I'm getting better. I'm getting better, but it's doing stuff like that. You've got to be able to pick out all the dings and dents, flatten them all out. It's kind of similar in hobby painting. You've got to smooth off a lot of edges, look for scratches on models, and try and sand it back to get a smooth surface. So when you do prime and then go into paint, like you get that same smooth finish. I'm not crash hot with fixing the dings too much, but also I paint to have fun. I'm not trying to win Golden Demon. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon for me if I'm lucky at all. But yeah, people who do automotive spray painting, man, you hats off to you. It's not an easy job. Maybe you need to have the caffeine. One trick I have learnt when painting, especially even like miniature painting, and I do used to do some like painting of model trucks and cars and whatnot, which are at my parents' house. But yeah, those types of things, that kind of painting, once you have caffeine in your system, be it coffee or chocolate. Like I also find if I have too much in my system, I get the jitters as well, and I try and concentrate too hard. But I've also learnt to like use other things to try and really center myself to be able to level out and balance so that I can do the fine stuff when I need to. I'm getting better. Some of the models I have that are finished in my case at the moment that are packed away from the weekend. I did some really good work on them, and I'm looking forward to being able to go back and improve my painting in terms of adding in battle damage and trying to get some more shadow and highlights in. I scored the mid range on paint. I would love to go into the next bracket, because that will help me overall move up the leaderboard. But yeah, so as I was saying about trying to jump back into what I was talking about, round four became, as I said, Dark Angels, Wrath of Rock, Primaris, the Lion, four squads of Terminators, ICC, sorry, in a circle companions with the Judiciar, Azrael at a full brick of Hellblasters, the Repulsor, and a Ballistus Dreadnought. I killed 3.5 squads of Terminators, the Lion, the Ballistus, uh, the ICC, the Judiciar, managed to kill half of the Plasmas, got rid of the Repulsor, got rid of the Ballistus, just could not manage to score primary. Um, yeah, well, that's the thing, man. Like that fine detail stuffs can be quite difficult when you're trying to, even when you're trying to paint doesn't matter if it's a model, a car, or a miniature. Like it takes a steady hand and a lot of trust in yourself to be able to do that. And I'm learning that it all becomes relative with in terms of like believing in your own ability. And then once you start to do that, then the more you practice, the better you get. And that's what I've been trying to do, especially on this channel, is practice an absolute bucket load, which allows me to then get better, produce better results, and soon enough, hopefully, I'll be scoring better on paint changes, paint scores. But yeah, I was. Huh, I found line, maybe. Nice, sweet. Thanks, man. I'll have to look into that. Um, but yeah, anything that helps keep you focused and calm when you're painting just makes a huge difference in terms of. Sorry, the camera's deciding it wants to zoom in and out like crazy. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit so it stops trying to do that. And it's still doing it. Come on, settle. We'll give you something to focus on. Yeah, focus on that. Stop trying to go in and out on it. But yeah, round 5, then again, I ran into one of the other boys, but from. Oh, that's cool, yeah. Feeling drowsy is a pain in the ass. As soon as you feel drowsy, it's hard to paint and concentrate. I ran into Pat, who's a friend of A, the channel, and B, the boys from Bendigo, one of the local Ballarat lads who we have a lot of good time for. The man is a confectionist, makes confectionery, so always likes to, bribe his opponents with some freshly made confectionery that he's done on the Friday before the game. So yeah, just insane, good value. Pat ran the Firstborn Dark Angels with Wrath of the Rock. Again, like 130 odd bodies on the field made it real hard. Really forced the game to go slowish. We got through all 5 turns, we're pretty sure. I think we talked at the last couple. We talked at turn 5 again. Again, with a lot of bodies, it's kind of hard to get through that many things. But yeah, I came away with a win, 78-65. But I think I may have messed the scores up on that one. I think I've got to score myself my home objective, but I may also have not been in control of it. If I did mess it up, the actual scores was 83-65. So it's only like a 5-point difference. It makes a little bit of a difference in terms of the end goal. I would have shot up the leaderboards about 5 or 6 places with those extra points. But yeah, man, after post-match breakdown after a tournament, I played a tournament last week. It was 5 games. I went 2-3. And just talking through what happened. I do have photos and there'll be some PowerPoint videos come out. Like Auspex Tactics does. I've found that that's quite helpful and quite useful to do that. And at least it shows that I can, it gives me the ability to show the board movements, where I was going, what I was doing, and just talk through like how I scored points and where I made mistakes and whatnot. But yeah, was a bit of a live stream. This is for a post-match breakdown, and also I ran a competition, which I'll run again when we hit 500 subs, and there's usually a prize attached to it. Yeah, man. Look, given tournament level 2,000 points, which is usually the base of what everyone runs, it's a roughly 3-hour match. When you're play testing or playing with inexperienced players, like in your friendly local game store, some games can go to 4 hours, and then it's kind of like a long game. Games can go as quick as an hour and a half if you are getting absolutely spanked by an opponent and you get tabled. Things can go super quick. It's not quite 9 hours straight. So you usually play a game and then there's a break. So we played our first game and we were playing at a new facility. So we had an hour for lunch because it was a sports club per se. So we went and everyone had sat down and had lunch together, and then we played our last 2 games. with like a half-hour break in between. But yeah, usually the first day runs for 10 and a half hours, 11 maybe total. Start at what time we started at 9 a.m. and finished at 7:30 roughly on day one. So yeah, it went for what 10 and a half hours. Um, no, we got in at 8:30. Went for 11 hours. No. You don't really sit down. It is standing, so you're walking around a table that is 60 inches by 44 inches. And like, if need be, when your opponent is moving, and because it's a tournament, everyone's pretty straight up. No one cheats, tries to cheat, or there's not a huge deal that I've dealt with. Usually, you can duck off and go to the loo, or like I have a trolley that I take with me. It has all my models on it, my dice, and usually I have like a lunch box on there, which I have snacks in it, water, Powerade, or Gatorade. And apples and whatnot. So you snack away and whatnot, and you do get to sit down. There's usually two chairs every table. But yeah, the tournament was 120 players at the start of day one, so it's a big tournament. I think we lost about 25 players overall by the end of day one, into day two, middle of day two. I think there was a few players that left who managed to get through four games and obviously had to dip. I had stuff going on because people travel. Like we had opponents from Adelaide, 8 or 9 hours away. It's 2 hours from where I live to the event. People from yeah, man. Uh, this hobby is full of nerds who drink a bucket load of energy drinks. If I didn't see at least one energy drink on every table, and that's like we're talking 120 players is 60 tables. You got 60 guys drinking at least 1 to 2 energy drinks every fucking like for the day. Some people drink one a game, like so they'll be having three energy drinks. A lot of people drink coffee, and the tournament I played in is what we classify a little bit beer and pretzely. So like a lot of the time, the boys will have a beer or a spirit while they're yeah, it can be super fun, man. Or a spirit while they're playing, and everyone gets along well, talks shit, has a lot of fun, and doesn't really try to put each other down. It's all about having a laugh because it's the end of the year tournament basically. I think there's one more that runs next weekend down in Melbourne. That is the official end of year tournament, roughly. Um, that a few boys will go and play in. For something Melbourne, it might be Geelong actually, and that's again real relaxed. We've already had the official competitive tournament for the year run a couple of weeks prior to RatCon in Melbourne. Was like 200 to 300 players played in it, and there's like a yearly tournament in for all of Australia. I think it runs. I think it was Queensland this year, and that's like 500 players. It's not as huge as the big GTs that run in America, where you're looking at like 1,000 players. But you win some of these tournaments, and you can get what they call golden tickets, and you get invited to the big um, GTs or grand tournaments where there is five to 700 players. If you get into one, it's probably 1,000. Um, I don't focus on it as much as some guys do. I know, like, there's one guy from my area who went 5-0 out of the five games and finished fourth. There's a guy that's played a few times that I've played, Dean Signback. He's I think the Victorian champ for our state champion. He plays for Team Australia. He did play for Team Australia. I think he's pulled the pin possibly. I'd have to double check to see what everyone's doing. But yeah, look, there's all the armies are different at the moment. A lot of the Malay armies are really high up the ranks. Stuff like Eldari, Imperial Knights can be pretty gnarly. Death Guard. My mate Ryan was running Chaos Space Marines, but Night Lords, so super gnarly list. He made it on, got a big mention on Goonhammer for his funky list. They couldn't quite understand it, but it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of people switch up and down. Like last year, running running Dark Angels for the first full year. I think I ended up at the end of the year like inside the top 15,000 for Dark Angels players in the world. Currently, I'd say going off the 2 tournaments I've played for Tau, I'm probably way down the list. I know that I'm not as high as what I was last year. But the aim of the game for next year is to play more tournaments with Tau. Yeah, hey, Stars. Yeah. Just talking about a mate of mine who finished fifth in the tournament I played last week and got a big mention on Goonhammer for his funky list. The tournament was called RatCon. The boys that run it have one serious tournament where everything's played Warhammer Grand Tournament style. No funky rules, no real craziness. Um, it can do, George. The boys ran a kind of like a buy, swap, and sell event at the tournament. The big ones that run in Melbourne that Risky Rollers and like the Team Australia tend to run. There is events. There is events where there is a lot of sideshow activity where if you look for the tournaments, the grand tournaments, which are sponsored by Warhammer that get played all over the world, America, the UK, I'm pretty sure there's 2 or 3 in America and 2 or 3 in the UK. They have like swap and sell, like pop-up shops as well. So like Hobby Paint, Army Painter will be there, Vallejo will be there, Baron of Dice are usually there. I'm pretty sure My Miniature Factory's there. Like a lot of places that produce things for Warhammer itself. Pro Acrylic are usually there as well. And you can get a lot of stuff at those tournaments where you can get bits and pieces. Uh, there is Master Painters, but it doesn't tend to go like that in the way of like people putting out a brand. So Duncan Rhodes is probably the most famous GW painter that put his own paint brand out. His paint brand is called Too Thin Coats. I actually have a couple of the bottles from his painting group. There's a young Aussie bloke, as you can see there when it zooms in. Hopefully, I'll have to tap on the screen to make it zoom. That's Duncan Rhodes paint brand. There's a young Aussie bloke who's just brought out a brand and gave us a massive deal for RatCon called OP Paints. Uh, some are acrylics. A lot of it's water-based paint, so like water will get it off quite simply. Look, you've got the like Citadel's color-based paints are like um, a proper paint. Again, comes off with water. The contrast paints are a different type again. They're really water-based, water-soluble. So, as you can see there, they've got some crazy-ass names. They come off quite simply if you make a mistake with a little bit of water. Pro Acrylic, acrylic-based paints, water-based acrylic paints, which I use a couple of their paints. Mainly, I use this one. It is Hello, Chantal. How are you? The Bold Titan White is the best of their paints. So I absolutely love it. It's just so bright, and it really comes up great. But yeah, the for those who don't know anything about the hobby, George, like you've asked some of the best questions, and been able to hear about what's going on. Um, yeah, you're right, mate. It definitely depends. Prices in Australia for a base paint or for contrast, which I've got a couple here, which I'll put down. So like it's a contrast, it's a base paint. They started about $6, 50, may have gone up to 7.20 with the price hike. Then when you start going into metallics, which is what this is, when it comes back, even though it's a base, it's a brass room or brass. Um, hey, from Canberra, welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, how's it going up there in Canberra? You been playing much 40k, or you just tuned in to say good day? I hope everyone's well. As I said, yeah, that they all change price go up and down. There's technical paints that work more. There's a couple of paints in my paint rack that are about $12 a pot. But that's Games Workshop. When you switch over to stuff like Vallejo, Army Painter, SMS, tunes in to say g'day. That's the best part. That is the best part. Drop in, say g'day, listen to my random bullshit. Yeah, I'm hoping to soon. I'm at 500, nearly 500 subscribers. I think to get affiliate links and whatnot, I need like 3,000 watch hours, or I think it's like 3 million shorts views, which are quite. I'm finding it quite hard to come by. I've only been doing this for, um, what are we in now? November. I started this in basically March, the start of this year. Is when I started doing all this, posting videos, doing online, my live streams, talking trash, talking about my tournaments. I have both a Instagram and a Facebook page, the same, Redblurr Gaming. I'm currently in the works with a friend of mine who will be one of my affiliates, to actually produce some dice with my logo on them, which hopefully at the next tournament, my first tournament I play next year, which I'm going to know about a one in January up in Wagga Wagga. A couple of boys want to go to it, and I'm contemplating it. If not, it'll be Radicalism, which is probably the first one. It's about April next year, unless I can get into get into an earlier tournament. And I will have dice hopefully printed off that I will give away with my logo on it, so that people can hopefully go and give me a follow and have a watch and listen to the stupid stuff I have to say. But yeah, I've been trying. I'm getting along. It's great fun. I have done some of those. This was just this live stream started off as a viewing of. I ran a draw, as I was saying before. So we had 250 subscribers, and I ran a competition. I did the same thing when I hit 100. The person that won it was one of the local boys that was just random. I ran it off one of those random wheel generators, put everyone's name in it, and press tap, spin, and it was the start of the video. So, I had we got 3, 6, 9, 12. I had like 16 people jump in, get in on the competition. Hopefully a little bit more in future. I just need people to like the posts, or, share it, or even just, comment on it, and their name goes in the draw. So the next one will be when I hit 500. So if you are now a follower, George, keep an eye out for that when that comes along. We're about 70 subs away from that going off, and there will be a prize for it. I have a pretty sure I have a prize set up already to go. If not, I will be getting something from my mate who will hopefully be an affiliate link, who does a lot of my extra 3D bits that I need, that prints for me. I'll get him to print me out something, and that will be the prize, and that'll get sent off to the person that wins. But yeah, normally I do a lot of my videos are me painting models and talking shit, going through what I've painted, what I'm doing. But yeah. Oh yeah, man, I haven't got around to getting that yet. Enjoy. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 and Space Marine 2. I haven't had the time because I've been working real hard on just kind of finishing off the army that I was running, which there is videos on my channel. And thank you, George, for subscribing, on my channel of the army that I painted. And as I said, I got a score of 700 out of 1,000 on my paint score. So yeah, I know what I have to do to score the 1,000 bracket, which, as I said, will push me up the balls a bit further. Battlefield 6 RedSec is free, man. Huh. I may have to go and download it then if it's free at the moment, because I am a huge Battlefield fan. Played it. Oh, I think Battlefield Bad Company 2. This is getting off topic, which is fine because this is a full gaming channel. Like, I will eventually be able to. Was hoping to be able to record my Space Marine 2 games and post them. And that is something that'll happen down the track. Also, will be recordings of the games I do play. So you'll be actually able to see a game in process. Be on the lookout for that. I've got the stuff I need. I just need to be able to find the time to be able to set up and film a game. One of the boys that I'm good mates with, who is part of the Redblurr Gaming crew, is keen to play a game and have it filmed so he can go back and watch his own mistakes. He's super keen about that. But yeah, so that skipped out a little bit for some reason. Crazy thing. Sorry. But yeah, so hopefully soon there will be some of those videos go up once I get a chance to. But for now, guys, if you have only just dropped in, thank you very much. Those who commented and liked, thank you. Anyone who has subscribed, I appreciate it. Again, the winner of the 250 sub draw was Dylan Woods. I will be in contact with you, man, to let you know that you won, and we'll be running one when we hit 500 subs. But I'm going to call it for now. For those of you that are here, thank you very much, and peace out, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.